You know, with this whole CM Punk AEW drama going on, when I listen to what JD from NY206 says, and just Alex has said, and others, they are pretty much, adamant. They are pretty much adamant that CM Punk is going to be on the debut episode of Collision. That the AEW debut of Collision is going to be in Chicago at the United Center. They are very adamant about that. And they are going to stick to that no matter what. Well, you know what? I don't blame them. Because if you want this show, especially if you're Warner Bros. Discovery, and you're putting a lot into this, along with more years of Dynamite, you're putting on AEW shows and everything on your Max streaming service and all that, if you want this to go off in a big way upon its debut, then yes, of all places, you need to have it at the United Center. You need to have it in Chicago, and you do need someone like CM Punk to make his return, re-debut, whatever you want to call it, in the same building that he made his AEW debut originally. You need to have all that happen for this to go off in a big, big way and be memorable and get people talking and get people to wanting to tune in and watch it every Saturday, or at least DVR it to watch it when they get home later. You're going to want all of that. And if I'm JD, if I'm just Alex, if I'm Solomon, if I'm anybody that's adamant about that, if I'm Jesse, the Chi-Town Mark, Hill Jesse, if you will, that does a collab review on Wednesdays for Dynamite with JD, if I'm any of them, then I pray and hope that tomorrow night on Dynamite, when Tony Khan makes the announcement of the location for the debut of Collision, I better pray and hope to God. I better get on my hands and knees and pray to the almighty Lord above that Tony Khan says Chicago, that he says United Center. I better get on my hands and knees and start doing that, because if that does not happen, and he comes out and says it's going to be Daly's place in Jacksonville, and he comes up with a reason that's, something along the lines of it's only appropriate that Collision debuts in the home of AEW. If he says that instead of Chicago, then all I'm going to say, JD, Alex, Solomonster, just like I said in the previous audio video, you are going to get, I wouldn't say castrated, but you are going to get humiliated. People are going to get on you that look at you and say you are nothing more than obsessed with Vince McMahon, and your fear and your paranoia getting to you. They are going to get on you by saying, oh, you're so obsessed and adamant that CM Punk was going to show up, and it's going to be in Chicago, going to be the United Center. Now what do you say? What do you say, Mark? What do you say, you AEW bias, whatever you want to call it? They're going to get on them. They're going to get on them. They're not going to let them live it down. They're going to call them out. Some of them, I guarantee, are going to say, see, you were wrong, and it proves you're nothing but an AEW Tony Khan ass kisser. That's what you are. That's what you are, because now you're upset. Now you're going to whine and complain. You didn't get what you want. They're going to let them have it. They're going to let them have it. So if I'm Alex Hicks of Just Alex World, Just Alex Central, if I'm JD, Jerry, whatever his name is, off the script, if I'm Jason Solomon that sounds off, if I'm Heel Jesse of Chi-Town Mark, if I'm anybody that's been adamant about CM Punk, coming back and re-debuting, returning on the debut episode of Collision, which I believe and hope, which I believe and feel and know it's going to be, in Chicago at the United Center. If I'm any of them, I better get on my knees right now and pray to God above, to the Lord Jesus Christ above, that's the announcement Tony Khan makes. Because I guarantee, if it's not, and it ends up being Daly's place in Jacksonville, and he gives off a reasoning of it's only appropriate to be in the home of AEW, I guarantee you, people that have been critical of Alex and JD and all of them, they're not going to let them they're not going to let them, forget about this. They are going to be on them constantly. They're going to tweet them. They're going to, bombard the chat rooms during the live stream. They are going to be relentless. And I hope to God that doesn't happen. I really do hope to God that does not happen. But seeing how the wrestling community is, and basically there is more people that look at people like Alex and JD and Solomon and feel like they are nothing but marks, that basically they have not a true understanding of what's going on, and all they're saying is basically what they want to see, what they want. Not realizing there could be more to it. Knowing how this community is, and the majority of the fans being basically, casual, if not hardcore fans that like anything wrestling, whether it's WWE, AEW, New Japan, whatever. But they do not like how people like Alex and JD come off. And there's a lot of them, believe me. They are going to castrate these guys. They're going to castrate them. They're going to try to humiliate them. They're going to try to basically troll them. And again, I pray and hope to God that does not happen, but they will do that to them if Tony Khan announces Jacksonville and Daly's place instead of Chicago and the United Center. That's what's going to happen, and they need to pray to God above, the Lord above, that does not happen. That he does come out and say it's United Center. He does come out and say it's Chicago. They better hope and pray for that. They better hope and pray. Because if not, then you know what? Maybe, like I said in the other video, or I tried to say in one video but didn't, but I had to redo it because I'm always fumbling on my words sometimes, or getting tongue-tied or distracted. But as I said in one attempt of recording the previous video, I think what they will need to do is take a break. They, being JD, being Alex, being Heel Jesse, being Solomonster, they will need to take a break from wrestling. They will need to take a break from wrestling, stop talking about it for a bit, dedicate their channels to other things, make it a variety channel if they have to, but just take a break from wrestling, and then maybe after a month come back with fresh eyes, maybe a better understanding of, okay, maybe I should speculate or be so convicted that I know this is going to happen when it shouldn't be. Maybe that's what they need to do. Maybe that's what they're going to need to do if, in my opinion, Tony Khan does not announce Chicago and the United Center for the debut of Collision. Because it's going to come back, guys. And again, I know I'm repeating myself here, but again, it's going to come back on them if he says Daly Place in Chicago, or not Daly Place, but he says Daly Place in Jacksonville, and then comes up with a reason saying it's only appropriate that the home of AEW gets the first show of Collision. Again, if I'm everybody I just mentioned, I pray and hope that does not happen. I really do. I pray and hope that does not happen. And you have this news coming out that people are running with and saying, AEW suing CM Punk, when as a matter of fact, all it really is a legal letter being sent to him to sign. Now, what that legal letter is anybody's guess. It could be a legal letter that says when you come back, you're Collision and you are a Collision exclusive, a star, a wrestler, and you can't appear on, and legally, and by signing this, you're agreeing to only be on Collision and not Dynamite or Rampage. You're only Collision, and of course the pay-per-views. That's about it. That might be what it is, that he's agreeing legally to be just a Collision star or a wrestler on Collision, as well as on the pay-per-views, and that's it. That's it. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe, like JD put it, maybe it's a legal letter that's going to prevent what happened at, the media scrum after All Out last year, I should say, from happening again. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the legal letter saying, hey, we bring you back. Here's what you agree to. You will no longer badmouth the EVPs. You will no longer badmouth or humiliate the owner of this company. You will no longer badmouth and humiliate people at the media scrums that are trying to ask questions. You will be, basically, basically the legal letter, if it's what JD is speculating it is, it's just a way of telling, CM, sorry there, got a little something in my throat, but maybe it's JD, he didn't put it this way, but it sounded like it. Maybe this legal letter is just, their way of keeping Punk, in check, basically saying, hey, this is your warning, this is your first write-up, if you will. This is your first write-up. You break this write-up, and it's automatically to strike 3, you're out. Because we know in jobs, you got 3 strikes. Coaching, write-up, bye-bye. This could be one of those instances where it's a write-up that leads right into a, strike 3, and that's it. It might be that. It's probably a legal letter saying, hey, you're agreeing that when you come back, be part of the collision and the pay-per-views, that you're not going to get out of hand. And if you do, we will have the rights legally to fire you without question and sue you for breach of contract. They could do that. They could do that, and that might be what the letter is. We don't know. But a lot of people are saying AEW suing him, and maybe that's what the legal letter is too. Maybe it's a legal letter saying, hey, we intend to sue you because of what you've done. We don't know. We don't know. But whatever the case is, and how this affects Collision, again, I go back to what I said. JD, Alex, and all of them better pray and hope that, whatever that legal letter is that got sent, either is a legal letter of consent saying, hey, you agree legally to be on your best behavior, coming back, and you will not cause any more trouble, that. And also you'll be an exclusive wrestler star for Collision only, and, the occasional pay-per-views. Maybe that's what it is. We don't know. We do not know. We do not know, but again, if it has anything to do with Collision in any of those ways that I mentioned, like I said, they better pray CM Punk, they better hope CM Punk signs that letter and returns it to AEW, and if he has done it already, then hey, you don't have nothing to worry about. Chicago, here they come with Collision, and the second coming of Punk. They won't have nothing to worry about. But if he's not sent it back, and he's not signed it, and all that, then they have something to worry about. Or if he has sent it back and did not sign it, and maybe he sent something in return, again, they got to pray and hope that, again, the way this all interconnects is they got to pray and hope Tony Khan makes that announcement for Collision being in Chicago, because if he makes that announcement, the Collision is going to be in Chicago, then that's all the confirmation to know they've worked something out with CM Punk. He's coming back. Some kind of hold on. Sorry, I got tongue tied there, but they better, like I said, they better hope that when he says Chicago tomorrow, he makes that announcement. Chicago United Center is the venue, for the debut of Collision. They hope he says that, because that will indicate that they did work something out with Chicago, and that pretty much everything is now set and ready to go. That's what I was trying to say before I got tongue-tied, that everything is set and ready to go. They better hope and pray for that, because if not, and again, as I mentioned earlier, he comes out and he says, Daly's Place, Jacksonville, that's going to be the venue for AEW Collision's debut, because it's only right to debut in the home of AEW. Then I hope Jesse, I hope JD, I hope Alex, I hope Solomonster, I hope anybody that was adamant and convicted that it was going to be Chicago and the United Center, I hope they're ready for pretty much a bombardment of people of the hardcore and casual kind that like all kinds of wrestling, no matter whether it's WWE, AEW, Impact, or whatever, whether it's good, bad, or in the middle. They better be ready for those people to hound on them like never before, because that might be, like I said in the previous audio video, that might be one of the instances that's going to be a reality check for them and a wake-up call of, okay, I was wrong, okay, maybe it's because it's what I wanted, and and so on and so forth. They better be ready. They better be ready, because I guarantee you, those hardcore casual fans that, like I said, love everything wrestling from AEW to WWE to Impact to New Japan, bad, good, or in between, they are waiting. Just like I said in the last video, they are waiting on bated breath for that potential announcement being, to be Collision in Daly's place at Jacksonville. They are waiting on bated breath for that to be the announcement, because that way, that'll be the signal, that'll be the green flag for them to go and basically let JD, let Alex, let Solomon, let Jesse, and let anybody else that has felt this way, being adamant and convicted of Collision being in Chicago, being, at the United Center, and CM Punk returning. That will be the green flag to have them go and basically let those guys have it. And I pray to God that does not happen. Because you know what? Those guys are contributing in the best way possible to the wrestling community as fellow fans. And they do not need to be bombarded with that kind of stuff. But again, like I said, we're in a time frame where the wrestling community, is a melting pot. It is a melting pot. It is a vast mixture of fans. Some are hardcore, some are casual, some are a mixture of both. But a majority of them just like wrestling, no matter what it is, no matter how good or bad it is. They just like it because it's an escape. It is a escapism. That's what I'm looking for. An escapism for them after a long day at work, a long day in school, at college. It's an escapism for them. And that is why they get on people like Alex and JD and all them. And that is why, again, they are waiting on bated breath for Tony Khan to say Jacksonville instead of Chicago. Because that way, that'll be the go sign. That'll be the trigger, if you will, for them to let loose and call JD, call Alex, call Solomon and others out for them standing firm and convicted on something that is not going to happen. And by calling them out for that, it'll be their signal to basically, in their minds, put those guys or put those folks in their place and basically tell them, hey, stop being critical, just be fans and enjoy it. That's it. That's what they're hoping for. But again, I want to be adamant myself. I do not wish that upon Alex. I do not wish that on JD. I do not wish that on Solomonster. But it seems that could happen. And I pray that they are ready for this. I pray they are ready for that. And again, like I said, I hope they are praying, getting on their knees, and praying to the Lord Almighty above that Tony Khan announces Chicago. He announces the United Center tomorrow night on Dynamite, so that it confirms CM Punk is coming back. He is going to be feuding with Joe. He's going to be feuding with Jericho. They better hope and pray that's what happens. They got to get on their knees and pray, because I guarantee you, if he says the opposite, again, I hope and pray it won't happen this way, but I guarantee you there will be trolls, there will be people that will bombard them to try to humiliate them and rub it in the face of, ha ha, you were wrong. See, you were wrong, you're a mark. I pray and hope that doesn't happen, and hopefully we'll get a resolution. We'll get a resolution that will allow Tony Khan to make the announcement for Collision being in Chicago at the United Center for its debut and not Daly's place. I hope we get a resolution. And I hope that legal letter is exactly what JD and others have said. It's a legal letter that's basically telling Punk, you agree to this, you're agreeing to be on your best behavior, no more, pipe bombing and all that and everything without probably going over with somebody or whatever. Just pray and hope. Just pray and hope for the best is all I'm saying. And again, JD, Alex, Jesse, Solid Monster, if I'm you, get on your hands and knees and pray to God above that Tony Khan makes that announcement. Because if he makes the announcement of Jacksonville and Dave's place, pray and hope like I'm going to pray and hope that whatever people come after you, whatever fans come after you and call you out, for being adamant and standing on a heel that basically has crumbled, I hope you're ready for it. And I hope you're also ready to have, some, I guess you can say, some humble pie already eaten and ready to basically, to avoid any of this, swallow your pride and admit your wrongness. I hope you're ready for that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, these guys better get ready, because after tomorrow night during Dynamite, that's going to be very, very telling as to where, as to how fans are going to react to them, being the way they are, and having a belief of what they believe, of what they feel, along with what I said in the other audio video. This year, 2023, is going to be a huge proving ground, if you will, for these guys when it comes to being, contributors, reviewers, analysers of the wrestling community. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Comment down below, live chat during the premiere, like the video, and until then, guys, I'm out.